Hi all, welcome to Introduction in HTML and CSS class. My name is Mohit and I'm a community learning specialist here at DoSpace Omaha. Thank you so much for joining us today. So we'll start with our presentation. So how normally we do this class when we do it in person, we ask everyone why do they want to learn HTML and what do they know about HTML and CSS. So in the digital format, it won't be possible because we are doing it for a shorter time. And also there would be so many people to ask these questions for. So I'll just straight away go ahead to the introduction to HTML and CSS. We'll be learning today about from the very starting that what is HTML and what is CSS, why this language has been, people have been using this language over the years to make website pages, and how you can link the pages, and how you can put your all the pages that you correct on internet. And then we are also going to learn about how you can insert images, how you can change different fonts, whatever you write on internet. And then I will be also sharing some resources with you, how to practice HTML and CSS by yourself. So I'll be sharing some resources with you as well. So let's go ahead and start with the introduction to HTML. The first slide that talks about what is HTML. So HTML is known as hypertext markup language, and this is the language used to create web pages. So as we know about HTML, that this is the basic language which is used to create all the website pages. Whatever you see on internet, whatever you see whenever you go to Google, you search anything, or maybe you are using any website from any school, college, or any website from Amazon, all of the basic of everything that you do and you see is HTML. All of those pages, they have been in HTML language. And using HTML, you can create a web page with text, graphics, sound, and videos. So whenever you go to a website, you see there are so many images, and there are so many, that page may contain so many, sounds, audio sounds, graphics, animation, people moving, characters moving, and videos, and so many things. So all of these things, they have been built up in HTML. HTML is the basic to create those web pages on computer. So I'm going to show you an example here. So let me start explaining this. What is the difference between front end user and back end user? So for example, if I go to a page, I'm opening a page here. I have already opened for you. So I just open a page, Omaha, about Omaha on a Google search. So Omaha is a city where we live, where we're doing this, all the telecast from. So if I want to go ahead and if I want to look, what is Omaha? So I just put Omaha here in the Google search and this page comes up. So, whatever I see this page as all, and you will see on the right hand side, there are videos, there are pictures of Omaha, and there is a map of Omaha. And if you go further, scroll down, there are other things like small images, and there may be some videos. We see top story, some other videos. So all of these pages, they have been built in HTML. The basic language is HTML on which this page has been made, have been created. So, and if you want to see the difference between uh, a front end user and a back end user, whatever you want to see, for what you can do is you can click on any word that you see here. If you click on right click from touchpad, and if you are using a desktop, and if you are connected to a mouse on your computer, on your desktop, you can right click from the mouse, and you can also right click on your touchpad. And whenever you click on inspect, this will bring up you a different look of the page. If you can see my screen, that's on the right hand side of I'll move this so you can see that better. So now on the right hand side of the screen, you see there are so many code that has been written, and all of this code has been written in HTML. So when you do inspect on any alphabet or any letter that has been written, you see the code of that specific, the code of the page, code of that page that has been written. And you see there are, if you see here, there's a, this links here, the text decoration, and then you will see all, and if you scroll down here, you will see all the link here, the color code, the cursor, pointer, display, and line. Everything has a code attached to it. So you will see, and this, you can do this to any page, whatever page that exists on internet. You can go right click on a specific thing, you can go to inspect, and you can see what is the code to that page in which that code has been written, and how that code has been written by the software developers. So, on the right hand side of the screen, what you are seeing is the back end of the page. And on the left hand side, what you are seeing is the front end of the page. So front end user is a user who just see the page, how it has been written. And the back end user is the software developer who has written that page. So if I have, and sometimes people, they ask me, what if I can see the page? Will I be able to make the changes to that page? No. In order to make changes to the page, you have to have certain admin right to go ahead and log in into the backend user as a user in order to make the changes to that page. So this is the thing that I'm discussing now is the very basic of how a page has been created. For example, I'll give you an example. For example, if I, let's say I work with DoSpace and I have admin rights to work on all the pages that has been shared by DoSpace on internet. So I have a specific username and I have a specific password with me, specific username and password me with which I can log in into the backend type of the backend user type, where I can see what is the code written and all the changes that I can make. And on the other hand, if you guys are going to log in into a DoSpace page, you will just see the information and you don't have access to that code, which means you are a front-end user. So if you are a front-end user, you won't be able to see the code, and you can just see what the code has been written by me and all the changes that I can make by myself. So this is the basic difference between front-end user and back-end user. And always remember that all the pages, they have been written with HTML language, and only the person who have admin right, they can only go ahead and make the changes to all the pages for HTML. Okay, now let's go back to the presentation. So we just talked about what is HTML. It's known as hypertext markup language, and what is it used for. You can go ahead and you can create web pages with text, graphics, sounds, and videos. And then we just saw an example that what is the difference between front-end user and back-end user. How a back-end user with specific admin rights, they can go ahead and make the changes to HTML pages, and how a front-end user, they can only see what is available on the internet if they do internet search. For example, we just saw an example, we did a Google search for Omaha. So this was the definition and basic understanding of what is HTML language. So let's go ahead and talk about basic of HTML language. Every language has a building block. Like if we learn about English, there's a building block, alphabets. If we talk about any other language, Spanish, if we talk about Hindi also has a a language it's in which it's written, and there's a building block of alphabet, and we call it swar and vyanjans. So everything has a different information of the building block in a specific language. So HTML, the specific building block is tags. They are called tags. The essence of HTML programming is tags. Everything that is written and that is made code out of it, all the things, they have been written in tags. So there's an example in the second row of this PowerPoint, which is a tag is a keyword enclosed by angle brackets. The example is given is there's brackets and there's I. So this is an example of a tag, and I is a tag for uh, information. So all of there are opening and closing tag for many, but not all tags. The affected text is between the affected text is between two tags. So the thing that I want to tell you is that every tag they have a specific feature. I'm just gonna go ahead and how do you switch a website from HTTP to a yeah, if you want the notes, I can share. You can all of us. We can take your present. We can take your email address, and I'll be sharing this PowerPoint presentation with you, so you can make your notes. As I go on your notebook if you want, and if you want later, you can share you can share your email address with you, and I will send you the copy of this presentation. And this presentation is very long. It's almost like 70 slides. And today we are going to just talk about some basic things, but this includes everything that you need to know in HTML. So the essence of HTML, we were just talking about the building block in HTML, which is tags. And then the thing I was discussing is that every tag has a specific function. So for example, if there is a tag with the capital B, that has a function of making it letter bolds. We are just going to go ahead and see some examples here. Let's move to the next slide here. So the next slide is the opening more tags. It's so we'll be talking about on few slides we'll be talking about more about tags and tags, because tags is what HTML all about, and it is just you can do, if you know a specific tag of a thing, you can pretty much do anything anything in HTML. So for example, the expression is, for example, if you want something in bold letters, the tag would be B with the brackets. So if you see in the second line here, there's if you want to type on a document warning, if you want warning to be in bold letters, you will use a tag with brackets B, and then you will close the tag here with bracket B, and there's a forward slash. Always remember, whenever you will open a tag, that will be in the brackets, and then whenever you will close the tag, this will close the tag with control B, with the forward slash. So if I'm typing, for example, if I'm typing a document, and I want the heading of the document to be warning, and I want warning to be in bold letters. So as I told you, whatever you do in HTML, you have to have the different specific tag for that specific thing that you're going to do. So if I'm going to write warning in bold letters, I have to have a tag for this, which is B, brackets B, and then when I will print this page on a website, the warning will be bold. Now we are going to go ahead and do some examples here, and I'm going to show you how a page works. And we are going to see the best online web tutorial that you can see on internet, which is W3 Schools, which is absolutely free to use. You don't have to pay anything, and they have lots of lesson. You can go through it, and then you can just practice HTML coding by yourself. So what you can do is you can also, if you have another device, or if you want, you can open this along as I'm doing it. You can follow me, and you can do some steps here, and you can just do some practice with me. So this is w3schools.com, the name of the website. I'm going to copy paste the link, and I'm going to paste that in the chat to all of us. If any one of us, they want the link, you can just click on the link and you can go to this website. So it's called W3 Schools. And they just do not have HTML and CSS. They have Java. They have so many languages. They have Java, they have SQL, programming, Python, XML, and they have so many things here. You can learn it by practicing it on W3 Schools. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the language that we're learning today, HTML, and I'm going to show you some examples that we can do here and how we can learn the basic things with HTML. So I'm going to go and click on HTML introduction. And as I said, you can just go, you can just follow me and you can see how this works on HTML website with me, or you can try it later. You can just see, make your notes, and you can try it later by yourself. So on my screen, I have on the left-hand side, I have a code written in HTML language. And on the right-hand side, we have the output of that code. So I hope all of us will remember that we talked about front-end user and back-end user. So why we talked about front-end user and back-end user? In order to understand this difference right here on this page. This is very important to understand what front-end user is and what back-end user is, because you can see and you can differentiate it by yourself. So on my left-hand side, I have back-end user because I can see all the codes and I can make changes to the code. And on the right-hand side, I have front-end user, which means how I am going to see it on the website, on the internet, how it's going to display my code on internet. So I'm gonna go back to the Omaha example again. I'm going to show you again. So we typed Omaha, and then we go to a specific thing in the page on Omaha, and we right clicked on it, and then we did inspect, and then we saw the code on the right hand side. So the right hand side is backend user, where you can see all the code and you can make changes to the. Always remember, where you see the code, that is the place where you can where's the backend user, and where you see the internet information, that is front end user. And if you have admin rights for the backend user, you can go ahead and make changes. But if you're a front end user, you can just see the context on this. So I have a question here. Does this show you how to secure a site from HTTP? If you have admin rights, you can make it a secure website, yes. Yeah, so let's go back here to the thing that we were doing in W3 school. Okay, so as I was saying on the W3 school example, the left-hand side is the prototype of a page on HTML page, the example of a small page that you are going to write, and that you can see as a front-end user on the right-hand side. So let's talk about some tags here. So the first tag, which says doc type HTML, this one right here, this just says that this specific document has been written in HTML language. And then the first tag is HTML. Whenever you will write a code in HTML, you will start it with HTML is written from the front. That means you are starting a code in HTML. And then as we saw in the presentation, that whenever you start a tag, you always end the tag. So we started HTML tag here, and then you will see at the bottom we finished the tag, we ended the tag with the same tag, which is HTML. And we already discussed this, that whenever we finish the tag, whenever we close the tag, we close it with a / sign here. So there's the same tag HTML, but it's a /, which means we are finishing this tag, we are closing this tag, we are ending the tag at the top, we are closing the tag here. And then there's a second tag, which is head. So head means headline. Whenever, for example, if I'm writing a document, whenever you go to news website, or whenever you go to any website which has some articles written, you see there's a headline written on the top, and then you see all the information. So whenever you write the heading information, that's head tag. It's a headline tag. So I'm starting a headline tag here, and I'm then closing the headline tag here. And as you will see, there's a / in the head tag. and then I am typing the page title here, that is between the title tag. If we go back to the presentation here, and this says a very important line here is the affected text is between the two tags. So this is a very important line to understand here. It's a very small, sentences, but it's very important because it shows us here that, when I'm writing, for example, this is the H1 heading tag, headline tag. So it says headline tag and my first heading H1, and then it says closing tag with the forward slash. So my first heading is the text that is written between H1 and H1 forward slash tag. So this is the text written between a specific tag, which is H1. So this is the thing that will be affected by this tag. In the similar way, my first paragraph has been written with P and closing P tag. So this is going to be affected by this tag. So this is a very important line here. The affected text is between the two tags. So this is going to be answered. This is going to be explained in a way that, whatever you write between the tag, that text is going to be affected by the code that you are writing. So this is the backend script, backend code for the page that we have written here. And if you want to play with this, you can always go ahead and you can make changes. So now we are going to see how can we make changes between the tags. So as we just learned that the text that we will write is always going to be affected between the tags. So I just wrote this and I'm going to click on run here. So always see there's a run option here. Whatever you write a code, and when you run the code, the thing will change on the right hand side. That is the front end user. So I just change here, and then I just wrote HTML, and this was different paragraph here. It was written this paragraph, and this just changed. So you can pretty much change anything here that is written between the tag, and whenever you click on run, this is going to be changed. And then the other thing to remember here is for the headlines that can go between H1 to H6, H1, H2, H3, H4. This all depends upon the size of the heading you're writing. So I'm writing H1, H2, so I just change it to H2, and then click on run here, and then you see the size has been changed of the heading. So you can pretty much go ahead and change everything that you can see in the code. H1. So I have a question here which says what does H1 and P mean? It's a very good question here. So H1, as I just said, H1, H2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to H6. These are the code. These are the tag for headings. And H1 to 6, as you go 1 to 6, the size decreases. So if you want a bigger heading, you will use H1. If you want a smaller heading, I will use H2, H3, and so forth. So we just saw an example with H2. So I'm going to change it. Let's say I'm going to change it with H4 now. And you will see this will change. And then if I'm going to click on run, you will see, do you see the size has been changing of heading? So that is so H1 is, H is the tag for heading of a page that you are going to write on internet. And H1 goes to H1 to H6, and it keep on changing. And to answer your question, P is the paragraph. So whenever you write a document, what do you do? You write a document with a heading, and then you keep writing things here. So for example, so this is a paragraph. If I want to write a text, I'm just writing random alphabet here from my keypad. So for example, if I have to write information on HTML, then I will just write a heading to be the HTML class, and then I will write it in a paragraph in an information. And when I'm going to click on run, I will write my document like this. So you can pretty much correlate HTML to MS Word, and then we are going to, soon we are going to discover so many similarities between HTML and Microsoft Word. But the basic difference is Word is on your local machine. You are making document on your local machine, on your computer, on your desktop, or whatever document you're using. But HTML is that you are creating a documents on internet, on on websites, and then there are so many more features that you can do with internet HTML documents, that you can relate, you can connect to documents, you can add videos, you can add audio, sounds, you can add so many things, images, and so many things with the HTML document. So this is the example on W3 School, and this is the most basic example that we can see to create a page. And you will see, and the other thing that you will notice here is that whatever is in purple, HTML, head, title, head, body, whatever you see on W3 School in purple color of text, kind of purple, these are the codes, these are the tags. And you have to be very cautious, you have to be very specific whenever you write code. They should not be incorrect, otherwise your code will not work for you. For example, I'm going to show you an example. For example, I change it, this heading to heading 3. Do you see the heading 4 is red now, which means it's giving me an indication that my code is incorrect. Heading 3 is purple, heading 4 is 4, which is incorrect. So if I'm going to click on run, it's just going to show me the previous example, previous thing that we have just done. But if you do it live, this will not work for you. This will just give you error, that there's a page on your error. And in the similar way, if you go ahead and if you make changes to all the text, all the codes that you write with HTML, body of the page, title of the page, if you write a different, is creating the, so I'm sorry, I have a question here. Is creating the page on W3 School free? If so, a domain is still needed, right? Yeah, that's a very, very nice, important question, and that's a very advanced question that you have asked me, but I'm going to answer you. So, domain has nothing to do with this. Domain is a different kind of aspect that I would say is here. So, so the first answer of your question is W3 School is absolutely free. It's a free resource. It's a free tool. You can practice. Your HTML here and so many languages as we just saw. But then domain is a different thing. If you write a page, if you write a HTML page and then you have to put that page on internet, you have to buy a domain. You have to buy a domain name, and because you want that to be on some server. For example, if I am making a page and if I want to put that page somewhere on Google, I just cannot do it if I do not have a domain, a website name, and there are so many other things. So there are companies from where you can buy domain name, and website builder. Website builder is a tool which a team will which help you, and they also have some tools. So there's like GoDaddy.com is the most famous one, and then HostGator, and there are so many other. WordPress also has some of the tools. So that's kind of an advanced thing. We are just doing the basic thing, how to write pages, how to just start working and learning with HTML. But yes, your question is absolutely, I think I have answered you that you have to buy a domain after you are done with writing all of your pages. Yeah, so this was an example of the basic page that you can write on HTML. Let's go back to our presentation and do some more slides here. So we talked about tags, and we talked about what are tags, what are they used for. Every tag, they have a different function. And this, the last line that we just explained, and it's very important that affected text is between the two tags. Whatever, so you will open a tag and you will close a tag. Whenever you will open a tag, you will open the tag with the brackets. Whenever you will close the tag, you will close the tag with / in the bracket. That is the most important. And whatever you will write between the tags, that is going to be affected by those tags. So if we go to more, more tags, we will see that, this is an example right here. I'm going to highlight this on the screen so you can make a difference what I'm talking about. So if you write, B, open a tag with bracket B, and then you write warning in the between the tags, and then you close the tag with /. So whenever you will write this specific thing in any of your document, the warning will be written in the bold letters, because B is the tag for writing letter in bold. So you will see pretty much, as I said, you will see so many similarities with MS Word. So whenever you write a document in MS Word, if you want to make it bold, you do Control B. So B is the kind of shortcut to make your letter bold in a Word document. And here in the similar way, the B is the code. B is also the tag to writing things in bold. So there are so many similarities here, and you're going to see more and more once we move forward. And then let's talk about nested. So this is all about tags, and then you are going to see if you go back to W3 skills W3 schools here, if you click on basic HTML editors here, they're going to show you different, see H1 and then P's paragraph. This is pretty the similar one that we just saw. And then if you click on basic, then you will going to see, let me see if I can find one for you just for the tags, elements. So you are going to, as we go further, we are going to see the BR is for break. If you want to break a line. So see HTML elements which no content are called empty elements. Empty elements do not have an ending, such as BR element, which indicates a line break. So whenever you, for example, if you want to do a break line, like you want to write, your contact in next line on internet, you will use BR tag. So you will see every specific thing that you will write is all about tags. So this is, I'm going to explain this to you, the next tag, which is href. Let's go to the basic presentation here and talk about more tags. So first, let's talk about nested tags. So nested tag means whenever you are writing one tag in another tag. So for example, if I want to write a headline, and then if I want to write the nation, and then I is for italics. So for example, I'm starting a document, and I have the definition of the document to write. I have heading of the document to write H1, and I also want to write my heading in italics. So I is the tag. So this is the tag here. So basically, I want two different things to be happening in this tag. Nested tag means a tag in a tag. So I is an H1. So there are two different tags that I'm going to write together, one tag with another. So if for example, if I want to write heading of my document with the nation, and I want nation to be italic, so I'm going to use H1, and then I, the nation, and then I again, and then H1 to close the tag. The important thing here is to notice is that you have to close the tag which is closer to the word when we start. For example, we have H1 and I here, and then I have written the nation. So I have to close I tag first and then H1 tag here. So let's say I'm going to show you, I'm going to put this in the tag in the W3 example, and I'm going to show you how does it work. So let's delete this one and put here, and let's delete all of this paragraph. Just let's keep some of it. Okay, and click on run. Just showing to be some error here. Let's try to fix this. Oh, this is not the, I think we should go to the nested tag here in this cases on the W3 schools, because some of them, they just work on the basic tags, basic page that we have written here. Okay, so yeah, so this is, I'm going to show this to you later, that how this nested tag going to work on W3 schools. But this is the basic concept of this, that whenever you are going to write two tags, a nested tag, one tag with another tag, then you are going to close the tag which is closer to the word that you are going to write in the tag. So I'm going to close this I first, and then I'm going to close H1. Okay, so next, let's move to the structure of the web page. The next thing that we are going to do on the presentation is structure of a web page. So if you see on the right hand side, this is the example pretty much we just did on W3 schools. So HTML is a document, the tag, how do you start, then head, and then title, head, body. This is where you include the message, body HTML. So in fact, we can go here, open in the new tab, and then I'm going to, so whenever you go to a new document, just go here on W3 schools, and then you will see all the things here, and then you can click on try it by yourself. Every page and information has this example, try it by yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this from here, which is my page. I'm going to delete this and click on run. Let's see if this works. Yes. So do you see, I just copied the presentation from the code from the presentation that I have, and I just pasted it in the W3 schools. And then I just have the example of the body that I have written on the text of the page. This says this is the way you would include the text and images. So this is going to show me, if I click on run, what I see on the front end. So this is what you can, try it by yourself. Write a small. So you always start with a small code. Write a small code. Go to HTML W3 schools and click on try it by yourself, and then you can copy paste the code and you can make changes to the code and see how does it work for you. So this is the basic structure of a web page of HTML, and we pretty much did an example of this already at W3 schools. And then this slides talk about how do you want to choose the title of your tag. So this is very important. This is very important, and I talk about this in every presentation we do. It's very important to choose the title of your tag. For example, if I'm writing a presentation on HTML, then I have to choose, very importantly, the title of my information that I'm writing, because people are going to search you or your information in the Google with the same with the keywords. For example, if I have written a document on HTML, and if I do not include HTML in the title of the page that I have written on internet, people will not be able to find me. So this talks about the same. It says the title will also appear in your favorite list, history list, and bookmark list to identify your page. Choose the title of your web page carefully. The title of a web page determines its ranking in a certain search engines. So this is what it's talking about. Whenever you go to Google, whenever you go to Google to find something, for example, if I want to learn HTML, and if I just type how to learn HTML, and then, for example, if you are doing this, and I have written few documents on HTML, or maybe examples or guide. If I do not include HTML on my title, the page that I have written, you will not be able to see that in the Google search. So it's very important for me to choose the title of the page carefully, so that people in the Google search can find me. So this is what this slides talk about. So the next thing we are going to talk about is text formatting. So text formatting is we just did pretty much a small example of this, that when we change how you can change the text, like as I told you earlier, that this is pretty much also similar with MS Word. When you work on MS Word, you change for you work on formatting of the text, like you change the different type of the font and different size of the, like you choose Times New Roman, and there are so many other, you can just go here and you can choose it from different options. Where do you see it in the text formatting and the size also? So that is pretty much a similar thing that you can do in the HTML language too. So this is going to talk about all the things that you can do with the formatting. And as I told you, they are pretty much similar with the MS Word. So B is for boldface, as we just talked about. We also talked about I is italics. I is if you want to underline. P is about new paragraph. Someone already asked about P, and then I explained it is for new paragraph. Whenever you want to start a new paragraph, just start with this tag, write your text in the between the tags and click on run, and this will work for you. And BR is for next line. We call it break row. Short abbreviation is BR. So these are all about, different tags that you can use in HTML writing language. Always remember that it's pretty much writing. It's very similar to writing a document in MS Word, but then with all the applications or all the shortcuts or all the things that you do in MS Word, you are going to do here with the tags. You're going to use different tags for all the things that you are going to make changes to your HTML document. And then changing the font size. So as we know that, we can go into the MS Word document, and we can go and we can choose it from like 14, 28, 22. Here in HTML you can choose it from 1 to 7. So you can say font size N, and where N is a number from 1 to 7. Pretty much like with headline, we did headline 1 to. So actually we have a headline slide here. So headings, web pages are typically organized into section with headings. To create a heading is a number between 1 to 7. So this is also from 1 to 7, and you can choose it from, I'm sorry, I think I said 1 to 6 earlier, but this is from 1 to 7. So you can choose, so you can format it according to you. If you want bigger size, you can choose 5 or 6 or 7, or if you want smaller size, you can do 1. So no, it goes other way around. So 1 is the bigger one, and S is the smaller. 7 is the smallest one. So 1 is the biggest, and then 2 is smaller, 3 is even more smaller, and it keeps going till 7. And then changing the font, we just talked about this, headings. And then also, if there is also about aligning text. So if you write a document on HTML language, and then if you want to align the document, there's also tags to align the text and documents here, like pretty much we do in again in the Word, like we align the text in the center or right or left. You can do it in this pretty similar way here, but with the tag. You have to know the tags of all the specific thing that you would like to do on your HTML document. Let's talk about comment statement. This is very important. I would like to talk about this. So I'll explain this to you with an example. So what is a comment statement? For example, I have a very big project to work on HTML, and then we have like 50 pages to work on, and I have a team of 5 people. All of us, we are working in the same on the same project, and then we are writing code for each other. We are also writing code in groups, and then we in the end we will be able to combine our project. But sometimes we write code and we want people to understand that what I was writing, what do I want to write, and what I am writing this for. So comment means is you will write a comment statement that will be just a statement that will not be a part of the code, that is just for understanding of your team. For example, I'm writing that this is a tentative code. Now, if I want to write this is a tentative code, if I write that in between any of the tags, that will be included as a code, as a information on the HTML page. So that can be misidentified as a code. But if I will comment that statement, that will not be included in the code. That's just for my team understanding that, or maybe for the people who will come later on the same project to work upon, they can see that this is just a commented statement. This is not a part of the code. So it says comment. Let's read through this slide. Comment statement are notes in the HTML. Comment statements are notes in the HTML code that explain the important feature of the code. The comments do not appear on the web page itself, but are a useful reference to the author of the page and other programmers. So I would say these two lines are very explanatory about the statement that I just explained, that this is not a part of the code, but this is just for understanding, for the, or maybe the useful reference, the word they have used for the author of the page or for the other programmers. So whenever you want to create a comment, what you do is you start a bracket with the exclamation mark and you write things here and then you close the tag. So this will not be included as the tag, as the code. Let's go and see an example. This is a very important concept to understand when you work in a big team. I know we are just doing basic here, but then whenever, for example, if you're working with your friends and you want them to see why I have written this code. So this is a very good example of understanding how to write comments. So let's see a very quick example on W3 schools here. So this is the HTML code, and do you see there is a comment statement here? It says this is comment, and then this is paragraph, and then there's another comment. So there are two comments in this. Comments are not displayed in the browser, and this is comment. So whenever you will write in this tag here, and there's another very good thing here to notice that we are not closing this tag with /. Otherwise, we are doing it for every tag, but we are not doing for this one. This is also very important. So I wrote this code, and I just wrote this for my friends, that this is a comment. For example, I'm just writing this is a class, or this is a class example. I want to just write this for my friend, for his understanding, for my coworker, and I'm going to click on run. So, my coworker also has a backend user admin, right? He's going to see here, and he's going to see, oh, this is a class example. This is like for a note to him, but this is not for front-end user. So this is a very good, important concept to understand what are comments. So, after you get this presentation and you can read through the presentation, and you can, go ahead and then find the same topic in HTML tutorial here or the W3 schools, and you can go to click on, try it yourself, and you can practice it. This is the best way to practice W3 schools and HTML language here. Let's move on to the next slide. Blink tag. It is impossible to make text blink using the blink tag. However, it is best to use the feature on most. So whenever you want to, your text to blink, you use this blink tag, but this also depends upon what browser you're using and some other features too. And this also, some other tags, some other slides, they also talk about, how do you want to change the color of the text. For example, this is going to talk you about the black color of the font that you're writing, and other things too. So before we finish here, take questions, I want to talk about one very important concept here is how to, let's see, I open this thing here. That was href link. How to insert images. That is a comment here. Yeah, so this is about comment tag. Okay, I'm gonna find it again for you. So let's say I'm going to find, yeah, here it is, images. So I'm going to show you, how do you see images on the page. So for example, I am looking at this page and I'm seeing this Hulu and Disney advertisement and all these images on the right hand side. How you do insert images on a HTML page. Okay. So basically what do is you give a path to your image. So if I'm going to, for example, if I'm going to work on a specific server, and then I'm going to save that information and give the path of that image. The code of including an image is, again, bracket img image here, s2 image, html image, s2 is headline, and then you are going to put the image with this, and it's going to give you all the information about image. So this is the code of the image. This is the how the image have been saved on the server. This is the path to the image, and then this is the name of the image, and this talks about the specification of the image. So whenever you write a code, you will see, if you go ahead and inspect the code by yourself, you will see, the code of the image is like this. So this is how you insert an image in an HTML text by yourself. And you can also go ahead and change the code by yourself, and then also, put different images. Okay, and the last thing that I'm going to talk about, I mean, there are so many things we can talk about. As you can see, there are so many things about quotations, formatting, CSS, and then CSS is how do you add. So I'm going to talk about two things, because talking about CSS is also very important. Let's talk about link first, and then we will talk about CSS. So link is why I want to talk about links, HTML links or HTML hyperlinks, because this is very important. Whenever you go to a page on Google, or whenever you go to a page, for example, if we are page on W3 schools, there are different links here. If I click on HTML home, this is going to open a new page for me. If I'm going to click on HTML basic, this is going to open a new page for me. Every different thing, they are going to open a new page for me. So how these page, they are connected to each other, how these page, they have linked to each other with the main page, which is very important to learn about, because this is, you cannot do linking of the page without this. And then all of the pages that you see, most of them, they like 90% of they have different links where you can click and it will take you to another page. So how this work? Let's see an example here. Go to an example, click on try it by yourself. Pretty much same thing that we do. So this is doc type HTML, HTML body, HTML. The link, the common context of the page. Then there's a heading, HTML links. We see HTML links here, and we know that if we want, we can change whatever is between the we learned this today, that whatever is between the tags, that is going to be affected. So I just change it to HTML tags. It changed to HTML tags, so I can change it. And S2, we know S2 is H is heading. We can change it from H1 to H7, which will change the size of it. We already learned about all this, and we also learned that I'm going to recap all the information that we just did with the help of this page. So we also learned that whenever we're going to close a tag, that will include the / of all the tags. And we also learned that every tag we open, we have to close that tag. So this is about the tags. And then we learned about S2 is heading and P is paragraph. We also did that. So we closing P here and ending the P here, the tag. And now do you see, whenever we want to include the path to another page or to link to another page, the code is href. This is a very important in the context of W3 I'm sorry, HTML language, because whenever you want to insert a code to another page or to link to another page. For example, if I'm making a website of for example, if you go to a website of DoSpace, then you see there are so many links. Click here to go to pages. Click here to go to videos. Click here to go to audios. Click here to go to our daily schedule, monthly schedule. All of them, they have been connected with a link, connecting pages, and that has been done by this code ahref. So you write this, and then you write URL of the page that you want to connect to. So this is the page you want to connect to, and then this is the information about visit our HTML tutorial is how do you want that link to be appear on the main page. So that is how it works. So for example, this is here. If I'm going to click here, this is, see, I just clicked on this and it took me to another page because I put the link. I think I have a question here. Does it already show up on HTTP? Does it already show up with HTTPS, or is it something that this site that added next to? No, this is the how this page has been made. So yeah, so that's, I just clicked on this page and then it took me to another page and how they have been connected. Okay, the last thing that I'm going to talk about is CSS. So HTML and CSS. So CSS is something which gives extra feature to your HTML language. For example, if I wanted the background to be blue, if I want different color font, if I want things to be moving, if I want special features, so I use CSS. It's pretty much giving special features to your HTML language. So we're going to see one of the example here. See, we are writing a simple document here, but we also wanted to see the color of our text to be blue. So that we have used, CSS, and then style is something. This is the only code which is for CSS, style color blue, which has changed my heading to blue color. So CSS is always written, it's a nested code between HTML. So you write an HTML code for a page, and then you write a nested code with CSS, which will change, which will give different feature and different things to your code that has been written with HTML. So, and there are so many things you can do here. So you can go to the list here, and then you can see what are the things you can do with CSS. Let's go to the main page here. Okay, so you can click here on the top CSS, and then you can see what are the things you can do in the CSS, how you can change all the display, list, tablets, tables, how you can add table and rows, how you can add forms. So CSS is a very powerful tool to do with all the things. And the last thing that I'm going to talk about is, I'm just adding one more thing, but this is also very important, which is HTML forms. Forms has been like one of the most important thing here on internet, because people, they use form all the time. If you go, you file a job application, you use the form. If you go, you do all like grocery shopping, you use forms. So that has been all made from HTML. So let's go ahead and see one of the form example here. So in order to write a form here, you use both HTML and CSS. and then you use label force. For example, this is the HTML forms here, and you must have seen these examples in whenever you do an application or you fill up any form with your taxes, or whatever you do on internet. Always forms are like at so many places. So this is the small code for form, and then the main thing which is important to is form action dot page dot php. So how is the background of how is the back end of this form work, that you fill up this info. For example, if I am using this information as a front end user, I'm going to fill up this form, and I'm going to write my information here and here, and then this information is going to be saved on a server in an Excel sheet. This is how this form works. So you write a code for writing like a form here, and this form will be submitted to go to the server, and the information will be collected in an Excel sheet with all different columns. So there will be column for a first name, there will be column for a last name, and you can add so many things here. You can add like date of birth, and you have a submit button here to click on. You can have radio button to have your gender, and then you can have so many things. You can have a checkbox to like where do you live. You just checkbox the statement which area you live close to. So this is all of the forms that you see on internet, they have also been have been making on HTML. I mean, there are other ways too, but the HTML is the they have people have been using it from a long time to create forms and to collect the data from HTML information. Yeah, so yeah, so this was the all I wanted to talk about today. Well, there are so many things and so many slides here. We normally do this workshop for 1 hour and 30 minutes when we do it in at DoSpace. So, and we talk about more about so there are if you go to this presentation, there is also slides about form and forms, an example of forms. You will see different examples here. See, there's a size, radio button, large, small, medium. I was talking about this. How can you had radio buttons, and then you have different colors and reset button. Yeah, so I'm gonna take some time here to ask if any one of us have questions here. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can write me in the chat box, and then I'm going to answer all of your questions. And then if you want, please write me. All of us, you can write me your email address, and I'm going to send you a copy of this presentation. This presentation has almost like 70 slides, and it talks about all the things, not all of them, but like most important things that you will be using in the process of learning HTML, and you can go through it one by one. And then always remember, this W3 Schools is a free tool. You can go here and you can practice all the things that you want to do. And the another resource that I want to talk about is Sublime Text. So you can go ahead and this is a download. You can download this software on your computer. It's on my screen. You can see it's called Sublime Text. So whenever you go to Sublime Text here, you will see you can practice your code. It will give you red error what you are writing your code is. Yes, and Kana, thank you so much. I'm sorry if I missed any of your message. Thank you so much. Kana is also my coworker here, and I'm so thankful to him that he is here, answering your questions. And he also just reminded me that if you have any other question with the practice, or if you want to be in touch with me, you can write me at hello@dospace.org. It's on your chat box, and you can write a specific question to me. My name is Mohit. I'll write that for you. You can, refer that question to me, and I will acknowledge that I'm going to answer that for you. So I have an email from a person here, Sarah. Thank you so much. And then, yeah, all of us, if we want this, presentation, we can write our email address, and I'm going to forward this presentation for you. And then, yeah, thank you. Thanks for joining us, and you're welcome. And then always, go to Sublime Text here. Sublime Text is also very important. If you go ahead, start ahead. uh, I'm just going to copy paste all the I'm just going to copy paste all the email addresses here for sure. Thank you. So yes, I was saying, Sublime Text is also very important when you know about writing code, download the latest. It's also free. All of the resources I talk about in my presentations, they are free. And then what you can do is you can use all of them to go ahead and learn things. The good thing about Sublime Text is that it's going to give you error code and it's going to tell you what is wrong with your code. It will show that in the red. So you can go ahead and you can change your code, and it's going to show you where are you doing the code wrong, and it's going to show you what's the right code for you is. So please keep practicing, and I'm going to send you this presentation. Please go through the presentation one by one topic, like topic by topic, and then find the same topic on W3 School, and then practice it, and then come back, learn about new topic, and then go practice. If you will do it like, just once, you will be able to get good understanding about HTML School. And when you feel comfortable, go to Sublime Text and practice more. Yeah, so I'm going to click on stop share now, and I'm going to end this meeting. Thank you so much for joining with us. Thank you so much, Kana, again, for helping with us. And please write us on hello@dospace.org if you have any questions, and we'll be able to help you with those. Thank you so much.